Hello, my beautiful flowers. It is Lotus Faye. I hope you guys are having a beautiful day. It is cloudy with a chance of a hella lot of rain, but I'm still out here. But I just wanted to talk about, cause see, with my Manifest 100% videos, I only speak on things that I am going through and or that I could shed light on or what I feel should be discussed. So today, I'm not even gonna say today. I'm gonna say the past like week or so, especially like the past 2 weeks since I really settled into the South more. Like I got a little matrix job, and like I've been really feeling like constant energies a lot more so than before. Like I was feeling energies before, but it's like I'm being bombarded now, and I'm trying to stay centered. But what has been what has been helping me is channeling both my higher self and also my ego. Okay, let me explain. Let me explain. So, we need our ego to survive. Yes, I know with the new age and with spiritual awakening, to ascend, your ego has to die. It does, because in the grand scheme of things, in the grand scheme of things, yes, in the grand scheme of things, you know, when you're reincarnated, when your soul aligns and stuff, your ego really does not matter. How you feel about yourself does not matter. How you feel about other people does not matter. How you feel about Trump does not matter when it comes to like your spiritual self. Your spirit, because your spiritual self is your higher self, and it is yourself in your purest form. It is your highest self is a kind, understanding, detached person. It is your higher self is a separate person too. Like I call upon my higher self when I need to, like, not be a bitch or not like react. Your higher self is also a non-reactive, relaxed persona. And there's more to it. Everybody's higher self is different. Everybody's like, but generally, like, your highest self is like your purest form, like the best version of yourself, like without, without greed, without selfish intentions. Like basically your highest self is you without, like a quote unquote the seven deadly sins or bad intentions or such. And your ego is literally that. Your ego is greedy. Your ego is, sensitive. Your ego is like, your ego was built to help you survive, because your ego is I in Latin. In Latin, like the term I, like I is in myself, it's ego. Let that sink in. So it's like, it's you. It's only being concerned about yourself versus your higher self being a pure, understanding person and looking at the grander scheme of things and looking at the collective as a whole, you know? But your ego is there to make sure that you eat. It's very complicated, but your ego is there to make sure that you eat first, and not only what that you eat first, but that you love what you eat first. Like your ego, the way I look at my ego is a sugar daddy. Like I know that's a weird analogy, but my ego's my sugar daddy. My ego would be like, you get this, or I'm gonna get this for you. Like you deserve this. Like I really treat my ego as the masculine sugar daddy side of myself, and I treat my higher self as the compassionate, compromising feminine side of myself. It's a weird thing, but it's like you need both. And with this coming of age, with this new age, like I always, and it is true, because just like, and I'm not saying masculine energy is especially toxic, because there is a such thing as toxic feminine energy, I'm sure, but usually when it's feminine energy, it takes on traits of toxic masculine energy. And so your ego, is the masculine energy that is making sure that your needs are met, your physical needs are met, your like resources are met, that you're taking care of. Like your ego takes care of you. But so but it is toxic. It can be toxic. So you have to check in with yourself and see what's appropriate in situations. Like in certain situations, you have to come at it. You use both in situations. You use both your higher self and your ego. You use both of those lenses to analyze the situation. But depending on the situation, you have to address it either from your higher self, either like, I'm going to react to it like my higher self would, or you gotta switch it and bring out that ego sometimes. Because let me tell you something, a lot of problems are dismissed by looking through a higher self lens. Absolutely, I will not deny that. But do not completely silence your ego like you are told to through this, like, because this spiritual awakening for me, this is like my third, fourth one. Like it's been a minute. It's not my first one. And I guess I'm always spiritually awakening because I'm always learning about myself and going through the patterns. But when I really started to analyze this was like 4 or 5 years ago. Like I want to say 5 years ago now. That's like 2020. But it's like from then, like I've noticed that the spiritual community is getting bigger and bigger, and it's coming out more and more. Like you've seen it in recent years, like more people are getting into tarot, more people are getting into crystals, which is, what we're supposed to do, because they call it new age, but it's really not that new age. It's really old. Like it's just new age, because we're breaking away from like patterns and the patriarchy, and we're breaking away from like systemized thinking. Systemized thinking, yeah. Girl, systemized thinking, girl. We're breaking away from that. So but I've been seeing messages with that to get like radical messages like, oh, get rid of your ego, like completely silence your ego. And it's like, yeah, you should, to become your best self, but do not throw it away. Your ego is there to protect you. Your ego is there to make sure you're safe and good. But silence your ego when it's appropriate. Silence your ego when it is appropriate. And, oh, I just felt a raindrop. Silence your ego. Yeah, I'm going to wrap this up. I just felt a raindrop, girl. Silence your ego when it is appropriate for you, when you know that it will not serve you, because your ego can trick you and think that it can take care of everything, just like like a sugar daddy. Like, I'll take care of everything, but like it'll probably make it worse. But it's like your ego, your ego can take care of a lot of things, but it can't take care of everything, and that's where your higher self comes into play. So you have to balance out the two and know what to channel in certain situations and circumstances. And I only say this because I had to I was in a situation where my ego wanted to come out, and I just talked about it with my best friend, because I used to react just based on ego, and I would make things so much worse because I would like lash out. Just for anybody who doesn't know me personally, I'm a Cancer Leo cusp. I'm a Cancer Leo. So, feminine and masculine energy. So I would react like a Cancer sometimes, but harshly, but I would react like a Leo sometimes harshly. Like, it's like either way, I would react from my ego very extreme. Like, it would be an extreme reaction. But doing some work in the past years, I found that I would ask my higher self first. Before I would even react to a situation, I would step back and be like, I would ask myself, what would my higher self do? And then I would ask myself, what would my ego do? And then I would be like, which one's better at the moment? Because, you shouldn't throw away your ego completely, but you should tame it. Because your ego has gotten you this far. even before the enlightening and the spirituality and all that, your ego has got you to where you're at. And your ego, believe it or not, pushed you towards spirituality. Because your ego was just like, all right, I'm good so far, but you need some of this too to survive. Like, that's why I'm trusting you to align, to enlighten yourself. Your ego trusted you to align with yourself. If not, you would have still been stuck thinking the same thing. Your ego lets you learn. So it's like, for you to, completely dismiss your ego, I don't believe that's fair. So I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm gonna wrap it up though, because it's starting to rain. But yeah, manifest 100% and channel your higher self and your ego in a balance and nourish them both in a healthy way.